check it. You'll know if you're a gamer what I'm holding in my hands. It's the new PSP Go from Sony, announced at E3. It's a really interesting divergence for Sony. Obviously the PSP 3000, which we've reviewed on the show already, is their current market-leading handheld gaming console. This really is a kind of sideways movement because it's smaller, but in gameplay terms it doesn't feel too much smaller. Far more compact though, lightweight, but most importantly the way that you download games onto the PSP Go is revolutionary for Sony. It's all downloadable content, so you don't buy a disc, a physical format, a UMD and whack it in the back, you download it. You can do it in 3 ways. Wi-Fi, you can connect a cable to your PC, use some software, or a PS3. The good thing is though, in downloading game content you don't have to be a PS3 owner. That's great. What's not great is the price that they're talking about. This little baby is not going to be with us until October, and they reckon it could be 250 quid, and I personally feel that's too much money. Especially when you consider that you could get an iPhone, for example, and get a gaming experience that's similar, not potentially as hardcore and as graphically advanced at the moment as the PSP platform, but you could get an inexpensive gaming experience on a phone. So I think that's slightly problematic. But apart from that, the only other issues are the sound. It's not very loud, and also when I'm on my 3000 in the classic sort of game control configuration, you can see the angle of my thumb there, it's sort of sticking up. On the PSP Go, it's much more obtuse, and that's painful for an old gamer like myself. When you get past 40, those kinds of things suddenly start to matter. I've got a copy of Resistance Retribution on this device, which was downloaded onto it. It's got a 16 gig memory, so plenty of room for games, movies and TV shows, and it plays well, although what I was telling you about the configuration of the thumb controls and so on, it does slightly ache, but again that might be something peculiar to me. What is interesting is they're getting into TV and movie content and all that sort of stuff in a downloadable sense, and that's got to be good. I think again an analogy with the iPhone has to come into play here. You know, Apple have shown that the revenue that you can get from that kind of content is very relevant for gamers, and so they want to sort of just soak up as much revenue as they can from gamers. And I think at the end of the day, as a consumer, that works out well. But you're not going to want this and an iPhone or an iPod Touch. You might want to get one of these if you're a Nintendo owner. If you've got a DS or a DSi, I think you could still justify having a PSP Go. All in all, I'd say the PSP Go is a really tidy little unit, and I think there is a place for it in the other less quite crowded portable gaming market. But what I think is most interesting about it is what it says about Sony's strategy for making games downloadable, and that works for PS3 owners too.